Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about this Naniwa Aotoishi 2000 grit stone, also known as the green brick of joy. I think this is the only stone in their Aotoishi line. I'm not sure about that, but that's what I understood from sharpening supplies, which is where I got this from. So this is a 2000 grit stone. It's a soaking stone. According to sharpening supplies, it just needs a short, approximately 5-minute soak. So we'll see about that in a minute. But this thing is huge. One problem with this stone is it comes with a sticker on the side that I peeled off when I opened it, and that stickiness stays on there for quite a while. I've never used this stone. So just to give you guys an idea for size comparison, this is the King 1000, 6000 that I've used to sharpen a couple times on my channel. So that's that. This is the Tanahutu Amazon Basic stone that I've used a couple times on my channel. Dwarfs that easily. So in my last video, I used this Shapton Koramaku 1000 to sharpen this Duratec in 8CR13 MOV steel. So this knife's already pretty sharp. I'm just gonna use this Naniwa Green Brick of Joy to further refine this thing now. So it has this 1000 grit edge on it from this stone. A 2000 grit is something you could certainly finish on, but depending on how fine of a finish you want, this may be kind of a middle grit. But for most of my use, 2000 grit is perfectly fine to end on. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, there's the Green Brick of Joy. There's my water. See how this thing does with an approximate 5-minute soak. That thing has some serious displacement. Not spitting out very many bubbles yet. Still not really bubbling very much. This thing never really put out very many bubbles. So maybe they are correct that it just needs a short little soak. These run about 75 bucks. I think mine was 10% off or something, so I got it for just over 67, but it could be about $75. Give it a few more minutes. 5 minutes, see where we're at. Never did really make any bubbles. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna sharpen at the backside on that so I can keep my logo going. This is just the bamboo base that came with my Amazon Tanahutu type stones. Should be firm enough. So that looks pretty stable. You can see that this thing's not really taking on much water. It's kind of just sitting there on the surface. So again, this knife has been sharpened already. Might just do one tiny little dulling swipe on this thing just to see. It's really gentle. So that roughened this up, but it is sharp, which is the goal. I think on a 2000 grit stone, you don't want to start with a knife that's really, really dull. So take my rough edges off there. Sometimes when I do a dulling swipe, it'll make some roughness. Super quiet. can see my swarf lines here indicating that it is cutting just fine. The water's really staying on top of the stone really, really well. It's not hardly soaking in any water. So I am getting some swarf on there, which looks like it is starting to load up a little bit. It looks like it rubs out pretty easily just with my finger. A little bit's remaining behind, but we'll see how that stays as time goes on. So I have started applying slightly more pressure. Initially I wasn't really using any, very little, just a tiny little notch more than it would take to keep the knife balanced on the stone. Started using a little bit more because I took that doling swipe. It's taken me a little bit to get a burr here, so we'll see how this goes. It is definitely polishing up my bevel. It's starting to get way shiny. This is way shinier than it was off the Shepton Kormaku. So might have a pretty good looking finish here when we're done. We'll see. And you can see I am getting some load up now. I'm just going to leave it there. It hasn't seemed to interfere with the sharpening at all yet. We'll see how we do. I wonder how this would have gone if I not dulled it. So let's keep going here for a minute. I'm actually going to flip my stone around. Can't help it. It's mediumly sticking in the stone. So it's not total load up. Some of it's staying in there, some of it's rubbing right out. So hasn't been an issue with the actual sharpening yet. Getting a really shiny bevel. Look at that thing. So I have taken a couple passes that seem just a little bit too deep, meaning like that. I could feel myself cutting into the stone a little more than I wanted to. When this is done, I'll clean this out and we'll see how it's doing for gouging. I have heard some people say this stone is quite soft. It has a soft and pleasant feel as I'm sharpening. But when I overstroke, I didn't come up with a bunch of actual stone on my knife, meaning I didn't like cut the stone out. So my over angle could have been very, very slight, or the stone is durable enough that it handled it, or both. And I do have some load up. Again, I can't tell that it's interfering with anything. We're probably getting close. If this were going to be a long process, or if it turns into a long process, I might have to clean this out. We'll see. So far, it's not a problem. Ooh, that was a little deep. Or it was just cutting my burr off. Felt like lots of friction. Might have been the burr. Just gonna do some edge trailing passes here. This thing is very pleasant stone to use. It's an amazing feel. It is a joy. Do a couple more with a little bit of pressure. Then I'll try to reduce that pressure a little bit. I've heard some people say that when you're trying to polish, which I'm not, it's not my intent, that you want to leave the swarf in there. I don't know. Do you guys know? It's not my goal. I'm not going for a mirror polish here. I'm just using the stone and seeing what happens. Really gentle ones. Just to make sure that thing's gone. Okay, that's what my bevel looks like. Super shiny. There's the other side. Not perfect. Very shiny. Try this piece of catalog paper. Very good. Very, very sharp. This is easily shaving my arm hair. Very, very sharp. I'm gonna go ahead and strop it and see what that does. Just gonna use this basswood with stroppy stuff, 0.25 on it. See if I can get some of this in frame at least. I'm using as little pressure as possible. All right. We already know we were good on the other paper, so let's just try this thing. That is very sharp. All right, so here's where we are with the load up. It's quite substantial. I never did notice that it was interfering with the sharpening. I'm just gonna give this a little rub with my hand and see what that does. So a great deal of it's coming off with my hand, which is a good sign. I'm just gonna give this a quick dunk. And I'm not even doing this in running water. If I was doing this in running water, it would come off even easier. I'm just gonna do it over this tub and see what happens. That's kind of where we are with the hand rub. I would say 50 to 60% of it probably came off with the hand rub. Try to do this in such a way that I don't get a nasty glare. This is a rust eraser, Sabatoru or something like that. I learned about these recommended from Perfection. I use this thing all the time. I've used this hundreds and hundreds of times and it's not hardly worn at all. It's a pretty amazing thing. Let's just see what happens with some rub here with this thing. So I do have some green material that came up with that. That's to be expected. Part of the stone. So I have a mix of green and gray, which is what we're looking for basically. So some of that's still in there, but overall I'm satisfied with that. It's a little tiny bit of residual load up, but I don't think it's anything that's going to interfere with anything, so I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm done with that sharpening. After I was done filming that, I ended by cleaning this out how you saw. After that, I did take it over to the sink and give it a quick rinse and one more quick little scrub with this rust eraser. It was nothing too extensive, just again about similar as what you saw, maybe even slightly less, just under some running water. And this is what the stone looks like now. Very little buildup. It's fine. So overall, I am very, very happy with this stone. The sharpening experience was great. The stone felt amazing, nice and soft, but not too soft. There is no noticeable gouges or grooves, really. Nothing. The stone seems to have taken no damage, even though I had a couple swipes that seemed a little too aggressive. It left a very, very sharp edge on the knife. I love this stone. I love how big it is. I love the feel. I love the look. I love everything about it. Again, I paid $67 for this stone. It should last a really, really long time. I really enjoyed sharpening on this thing today. Really, really, really did. So I recommend this stone. Thanks for watching. So the only problem with this thing is it came with this sticker on the side of it and it's still kind of pretty sticky.